to Corsace Closed. It is time for our second match of the winner's bracket semifinals, and I believe our last matchup of the weekend, second to last matchup of the weekend, is Utami versus Mathi, seed number 2 versus seed number 3 out of qualifiers. Two very, very solid players and two of the best 1v1 tournament players in the game right now facing off here on an almost 8-star pool. And one match that is sure to be very, very close between these two. My name is Dio. I'm going to be joined by Fiery Rage for this matchup between two players with some very, very strong skills on this semifinals pool.
Yeah, you kind of said most of what I was going to say already, and you could just sort of see on the head-to-head matchup. These players virtually skill set-wise, at the very least, are identical. Utami and Mathi are very well renowned for their general speed prowess. I think no one can really argue against that. Both these players just go into tournaments. They FC Nomad 5, they FC DT2, they FC any real speed map that you put them in for. They are just absolutely ridiculously consistent on that, and because of that, I'm not too sure where we'll actually go with those sorts of speed maps. I'm not too sure if that'll even be picked up by any of these players, because it's just literally going to be a toss-up between those two on those maps. As for everything else, I mean, for the most part, I guess you could argue Utami has a slight advantage on aim overall, but stream-wise, Nomad 2, if we go into that, I think that's probably relatively evenly matched as well. Nomad 3, I think pretty much most of these maps, to be honest, are mostly going to be evenly matched. This is just going to be a battle of who will actually perform better on the match day. That's pretty much what this is going to boil down to, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think you touched on a lot of the things that I wanted to talk about. One thing I do think that we can kind of look to kind of break the tie between these two, right? You look at the speed and stamina scores, and they're going to be about equal. Both of these players have full combos on double time 3 from last weekend. Utami has some really solid scores on double time 2 from last weekend as well, and FC there out-acking MREC on that map to win the point. And a 550k on Nomad 5 with 99% act from last weekend. So very, very solid scores on all of the speed maps for Utami last weekend. I don't think Mathi quite got a chance to play all of them in comparison, but did also have very, very good accuracy on that Nomad 2 like you were talking about. So in terms of the tapping maps, in terms of the maps that are focused on speed and stamina, I think these two players are pretty evenly matched up against each other. The big thing is what other skill sets are they going to pick to break that tie? A lot of people who are familiar with Utami and his rise in dominance through the tournament scene will remember that when he first started playing out, the two skill sets that he really tried to abuse against just about everybody were speed and reading. Actually, low approach rate reading is something that Utami is still very, very good at, and something that he has been using to his advantage in a lot of tournament matches throughout his career as a tournament player. So I expect to see maybe some bans from Mathi in that area. And despite the low difference in statistics on the reading for these two players, I think we maybe see Mathi look to that area as a potential place for bans. Similarly, if you look at the multiplayer link from Mathi's match last weekend against Intercamping, Mathi actually beating Intercamping on maps like Nomad 1, where you would usually expect Intercamping to come out on top with very good aim consistency from that player, who I believe was originally the number 3 seed out of qualifiers, Mathi number 6 beating him in Tiebreaker. So likely to see maybe some bans toward those aim maps from Utami, remove some of the quote-unquote RNG picks from the pool that he might not want to deal with, because Mathi has looked very good on them as of recent, and I think when you compare some of the other picks, like the reading picks or the precision picks, Utami kind of looks a little bit better on those than Mathi does within this tournament.
Yeah, pretty much agree with everything that you said, so we're probably going to likely see Mathi straight up banning Hidden 2 Nomad 6. We were kind of discussing this prior to the matchup, actually, me and Dio. We do not see Mathi leaving up those two maps just because of how absolutely reading focused they are, and I just don't think Mathi is really going to want to bother playing those, to be honest. As for Utami, though, we were kind of not too sure what he's going to ban. I feel like a lot more of this pool is something Utami is at least comfortable playing. Maybe not necessarily the best, but he can definitely play pretty much every single map in this pool. So it's just going to come down to what he doesn't want to play or what he's not as comfortable compared to the rest of the pool on.
I think one thing to note with this pool is that the double time 2 is very different from the DT2s that we've had in the past, right? Round of 16 and quarterfinals, both of those DT2s were really, really focused on streams as opposed to the very heavy focus on finger control that exists in this DT2 right now. Fire this weekend, a lot of doubles, a lot of quads, a lot of 6-note streams in that map, and a lot of buzz sliders that make it very easy to break combo on seemingly nothing from a player's point of view. So I think Utami may be actually looking to ban out that DT2 because we all know how good Mathi is on speed finger control, right? And when you look at the strengths of these two players, I think Utami has a very, very good grasp of the higher end BPMs of speed, things like the DT3, things like the Nomad 5, or things that he are very good on. But for Mathi, I think his aim consistency on DT aim and his finger control at those higher BPMs is something to be really scared of for anybody going up against him. So we maybe end up seeing, we talked about the Nomad 1 ban, but a DT2 ban, which might seem like a bit of a curveball at first, might actually be something that Utami looks to ban out. And as much as Mathi maybe would want to ban out something like the Hidden 3 as well, like you said, the Nomad 6 and Hidden 2 in this pool, I think, are just going to be too much for practice to make up that gap in raw reading ability between the two players, and we will probably see those two banned out. Talk a little bit more about maybe the Hard Rock pool, actually, because I think that's going to be an area of contestation between these two players in the Hard Rock pool, right? So yeah, why don't we go through like the Hard Rock 3, because that's, I think, probably the pick where we're going to see a lot of contests between these two, and just talk about the pool a little bit.
Yeah, Hard Rock 3 in particular is basically the Nomad 6 replacement. There's a lot of 1/6, 1/8 rhythm changes throughout the entire map with Hard Rock, so keep in mind you have to act that at OD10 as well. So very hard to act map, somewhat difficult on the aim aspect as well, but it's mostly just down to whether or not you can comfortably play those sort of rhythm change maps if you are Ikoro, as Ikoro puts it. He doesn't put it like that, actually. I just made that up. But yeah, Hard Rock 2, on the other hand, a lot more focused on just raw flow aim. It is the CS 6.5 pick, but most of the map is mostly focused on flow aim. It's whether or not you can hit these sort of awkward stream shapes, some of these awkward spacing changes throughout the map. There's a wiggle pattern in there as well that you might have to wiggle and flow to actually hit it properly. Hard Rock 1 is Hard Rock 1. It is a 185 BPM full screen jump map for the most part, so it is literally just aim. Quite entirely just aim.
Yeah, I think one thing with the Hard Rock 1 to note is that it's much lower BPM than that Nomad 1 we have this weekend. Nomad 1, 218 BPM. Hard Rock 1, 185, like you said, so 33 minutes earlier than the... Or 33 minutes earlier, 33 BPM lower than the Nomad 1. And because that's a spacing on the Hard Rock 1, despite a much lower star rating, is actually way wider. There are so much bigger jumps in that map that I think it becomes a bit less RNG than something like the Nomad 1, and just the better aim player wins on that map. So I think when you're talking about the aim maps and ones to ban out, you're probably looking at things like the Nomad one as more RNG, or even the DT one as a little bit more RNG due to the nature of the maps having just less spacing in them. And I think the potential to randomly miss is higher on those as opposed to missing during the super high spacing jumps of Hard Rock 1. That said, if players are just more comfortable on DT and Nomad, we might see that Hard Rock 1 banned out. But I think that if you're comfortable with your aim, you probably end up leaving that map up for either player.
Before we get into the match, it's just about match time. For those with channel points, if you like to gamble with channel points, not real money, mind you, you can predict the winner of this match. You can win some awesome Twitch channel points. Also, you can spend your Twitch channel points to release the Quacken. 16 days left on that, 22% raised for that. What does it mean? Who knows? Find out. It's always fun to figure out stuff. But in any case, we're getting right into the bans and rapid fire, absolutely right out of the gate. Hidden 2, DT2 for Mathi and Utami. Pretty much what we expected. Dio, you were talking about DT2 being a possible ban for Utami, and well, there it is. Hidden 2 for Mathi. Yep, that's expected. Nomad 6, I imagine, is following. Yep, there it is. Goodbye.
Yeah, I mean, the Hidden 2 and the Nomad 6 are super obvious bans, I think, from Mathi. The DT2, like we talked about, maybe seems like a curveball at first, maybe seems like a pick that is supposed to be really contested between the two, but I think when you look at just how good Mathi is and how comfortable he is on that speed finger control, Utami saying, you know what, I don't want to really go up against you on that sort of pick. But the DT3 ban is really interesting from Utami. Utami saying, you know what, I don't even want to contest you on speed. Let's just get rid of both this DT2 and DT3, and I'll beat you on the rest of the map pool instead. Not wanting to deal with the consistency from Mathi on the higher end BPM stuff, and just trying to get rid of as much of it as possible. And that really does change kind of the pick strategy for these two. Tommy kind of throwing the ball into Mathi's court saying, yeah, if you want to pick speed, if you want to contest me on speed, you can pick it. I'm not picking the coin flip maps, and I am not letting you pick some of these coin flip maps either. I think we're probably likely to see Utami, however, pick into some of the more gimmicky maps in the pool, particularly the Hidden 1, Hidden 2, particularly the Nomad 3. I think Utami's flow aim as of recent has been very, very solid, but maybe leaving up some of the other picks for later on. And it is going to be that Hidden 1 first pick from Utami. Not too surprising after the double ban on Hidden 2, Nomad 6 from Mathi.
Yeah, relatively aim-oriented, but with awkward aim focus on this Hidden 1 here. A bit of reading involved, but not, I'd say, too much. So, it's probably going to that's probably going to be a prediction of what Utami is going to primarily focus on. We're probably just going to see him end up picking into all those sorts of aim consistency maps, so I would not be surprised to see Nomad 1, Hard Rock 1 obviously be picked up by Utami here. I do think Utami has generally an advantage on aim. Granted, it's still going to be somewhat of a toss-up just because, well, it's aim. That's the nature of the mod. It's usually never clear-cut who's going to be winning aim maps most of the time. But we'll be getting into the first one, Hidden 1. Let's see how these players fare on it.
Instantly, Mathi, I think, maybe gaining back some of the warm-up that might have been lost doing the bans earlier on here, as finds a couple of act drops and a miss here at the start of the map. Probably not going to impact too much, as all of that was within the first 100 combo of the map, but it is going to drop his potential score on this map a little bit. One thing to note, Mathi actually did have a very, very good score on the Hidden 1 from last weekend on Chicago. It was 838k on that map, a 2 miss, choke at the end with 99 act. Unfortunately for him, intercamping with the full combo, able to still win that pick despite a very good score coming out of Mathi. And Utami as well with a full combo on that map with the same accuracy as Mathi. So it's going to need a pop-off from Mathi in order to take a break point on this first pick, and it doesn't look like that pop-off is happening. First quarter of the map gone by, it's full combo, 99.3 act for Utami, and 97.8 act for Mathi with 2 misses to boot.
We get into the first chorus here. This is where the more awkward patterns start rearing their head. Mathi gonna be tripped up on one of them. Utami looking to just absolutely destroy this map so far. Not having any issues whatsoever for that first hard part. We get into more relatively slow sections. Going to be quite a sizable lead now for Utami. Approaching the halfway point of the map, 400 combo up, accuracy relatively similar, so mostly just that combo that's making all the difference right now, and I believe Utami's gonna have to miss relatively soon in order for Mathi to really have a chance at coming back into this one. And okay, well there it is, there's the miss from Utami. Mathi does have combo, and there is a third of the map remaining. This is possible. Might take another miss from Utami in order for it to shift over, but is there the potential is there.
The potential is definitely there. The accuracy lead has completely closed, which, especially with those early hundreds for Mathi and early misses, means a lot of ACK drops for Utami in the middle part of this map now. Mathi gonna drop some ACK in response now. And this combo lead is there, but it's not decreasing that score lead super quickly. You can see still 500k now for Utami, just barely 400k for Mathi at the moment. Now extra 100k is going to need to be closed by a 340 combo lead here at the end of the map. So if Mathi doesn't FC the rest of this, it's not even going to be close. There's another miss, however, to come out from Utami, and now suddenly these combo
Mathi's slider broke.
Oh, yeah, never mind.
Mathi's slider broke, so that's unlucky. It was about to get real close there, but unfortunately, Mathi slider breaking at the hard part, which is actually really unfortunate because he nailed the rest of that entire section. If he didn't slider break there, that would have been maybe his point even.
And you can see how fast the score started going over, right? Just in the 20-30 combo after the miss that Utami had, Mathi's score increasing quite a bit in comparison, dropping that 100k score difference to 50k by the end of the map. So if he had held, that definitely would have gone over, and I think that really does show just how close a lot of these maps are going to be between these two players. Especially with that being the first pick from Utami, you typically do want your first pick to be a little more convincing than that. So good showing from Mathi to get a lot of combo together during the middle section, but Utami, with the consistent start and the consistent end to that map, still able to take the point where he needed it.
And now Mathi with the follow-up pick. It was Utami's pick. He did win his own pick, so now Mathi, ball is in his court. Will he be able to take his own point, or will Utami get a break point for the first pick that Mathi chooses? And now that DT2, DT3 are banned, there's a bit of a... I'd say I'm not too sure what Mathi would actually pick here, if I'm going to be entirely honest. No Mod 5, No Mod 2 are potential picks, but do you really want to pick those into Utami is the question that I think Mathi is like contemplating right now, because Utami is an absolute beast on No Mod 2s. Like, he has destroyed every single No Mod 2, like in grand finals and beyond. Like 8-star No Mod 2s, no problem. Yeah. And it's going to be No Mod 5, so not the No Mod 2, but still very much a toss-up pick. This is literally anyone's game. This might very well be an ACK battle.
It could be. The other thing, though, is, you know, we do see the DT2 and DT3 bans come out from Utami, and whether it's because he thinks those are coin flips, or because he doesn't necessarily want to play them today, or because he's not as warmed up as he would usually want to be, he doesn't want to play DT2 and DT3 against Mathi for whatever reason. So I think picking into the No Mod 5 makes a lot of sense. And in just about any other matchup, if you see one player ban DT2 and DT3, you automatically say, okay, pick No Mod 5. Just pick it. You'll be fine. Just pick the other speed map and get your free point. So I think this is still a solid pick for Mathi. Even despite what we know about Utami and how good we know Utami is at speed, I think on the day, seeing Utami double ban speed is very out of character and Mathi probably hoping to take advantage of that for the same reason, but out of the gate, Utami still looking as usually comfortable as he is on a pick like this, 99% AC at the start of this map, which is, well, basically everything you see right here. 240 BPM streams and bursts all throughout the match, mixed in with a little bit of aim strain here and there. That's really all you're going to get in this No Mod 5, and it makes for a very one-note test of that speed, a test of really who is better at those high BPM streams.
And so far, the answer is not really clear. Mathi, I believe, dropping 2 extra 100s in comparison to Utami, but both players pretty much just dead even at the map for the most part. It's just that very minuscule AC gap in the starting phases of this map here, but we're not getting into the hard parts quite yet. We'll be getting into a lot more of the triple spammy and more stamina-oriented parts of the map later on. Right now, this is relatively speaking, a calmer section of the map. Not too difficult to combo this in comparison. Now we get into the fun part.
One thing to note, the aim strain in this map really not that big, and so when you see those big axe drops like from Utami there, now down below that 98% mark, that can be a big determiner of who actually wins this map, because if one player is struggling to axe some of the streams, either of these players are really going to be prone to missing on too many of the jumps because there aren't that many of them, and the spacing isn't that big on the jumps that do exist in this map. So those axe drops from Utami can really be the nail in the coffin and be what Mathi needs to take the point on this map. Now still above 99% into the triple spam section here. This is where you can get some of that aim control component that we were talking about in this map with some of those jumps between the triples, but neither player having any trouble with it, and it is still double full combo at the moment. But big AC lead for Mathi at this break.
I believe Utami was actually overstreaming some of the bursts there, which is where most of the AC drop came from, as well as maybe a bit of finger control issues, but yeah, that's going to be a pretty sizable advantage for now in the favor of Mathi, but any combo break at literally any point is pretty much going to determine, okay, well, there it is. That's what I get for opening my mouth.
Well, goodbye to Utami's combo, and hello to a tied game state 1-1 after both players' first picks. A very, very solid first pick for Mathi, as Utami, yeah, for one reason or another, double banning those speed maps and losing that No Mod 5, breaking the combo, and dropping too much accuracy to win, even if he did hold the combo. Mathi holding on to the 99% full combo here right at the end, just a sliver of map left.
And even hitting that stream, my god, okay, Mathi is a speed player. Did you guys know that? Did you guys know that? I know that might be revolutionary. It might be revolutionary news to you guys, but Mathi is a speed player.
Yeah. Making it look easy, man. Making it look easy.
Utami as well, 700k. That's definitely not something to be scoffed at, a 1 miss on that. Still a very good score, but Mathi 99%, so what can you do, you know? Go next! Yeah. 1-1.
I think that maybe explains a bit why we see the double ban on speed from Utami and Mathi. Very, very scary on speed, and you know, if you're just not feeling it on the day, or if you're not as warmed up as you'd like to be, then that's a perfectly fine reason to ban speed against somebody like Mathi, who will be able to take advantage of it if he smells blood in the water on those speed maps. And you know, maybe after that pick, we see a No Mod 2 next pick from Mathi, but at 210 BPM, it's a very different story, the difficulty on that No Mod 2 and where it comes from. In the meantime, for now, we're going to be seeing the Hard Rock 2 pick come out of Utami. I mentioned earlier that Utami's flow aim has been very, very solid throughout a lot of this tournament, and he is going to pick into now the Hard Rock flow aim. A little bit different sort of map, though, as this is the precision pick in Hard Rock. So yeah, 6.5 with a lot of low BPM streams in this map. Not necessarily the alt type of patterning that you usually see, where the focus is heavily onto the aim control. Map's much more like standard streams in this map, but there is still a lot of that aim control component along with the precision. Going to be interesting to see which of these players has the better time on this map, as from the performances that we've seen from Utami and Mathi in Corsace Closed so far, Mathi has had a better time on precision picks, generally speaking. So whether that's going to hold true or not in this case is yet to be seen. But Utami clearly comfortable on this sort of map.
Utami has been actually doing relatively pop-off scores recently, especially in the Hard Rock Flow Aim category. As the obvious candidate of Wings of Justice Hard Rock FC, you have that going for him. That's pretty much tells you all you need to know about his Flow Aim capabilities just right off the bat there, as well as his Hard Rock Flow Aim capabilities nonetheless. So definitely a pick that I think makes sense for Utami to go for. It's not even a speed gap map either, so Mathi can't really abuse that factor against Utami on this map. This is just all about your flow aim, all about whether or not you can hit these cut streams, and Utami actually going to be dropping the first couple of chain misses here. But Mathi will follow suit shortly after. So, struggles for both players as we get into the first quarter of this map. Having a bit of trouble maybe adjusting to this map, but seems like now relatively stabilized now.
One thing to note with this map, these big changes in spacing are really hard to adjust to on this circle size. And despite the fact that these streams are going to be a comfortable BPM, right? They're not too fast for either of these players, obviously, after what we just saw in Nomad 5. The adjustments to that spacing and your cursor acceleration has to be really on point for you to do well on this map, in addition to obviously aiming at the correct spot. So very difficult, and that's kind of the thing that gave both of them trouble, both of them missing on those accelerated streams where we do see the changes in spacing and the changes in stream velocity. Neither of them really having trouble with this middle section, but the accuracy giving Mathi, a very big lead in this map. 2.5% up in accuracy over Utami at the moment, in addition to the combo lead, which is now gone as that wiggle stream claims Mathi's combo, and Utami able to claim the wiggle stream for himself, keep the combo alive, and start to bridge this score gap down to less than 20k now. And at this point, if he keeps the combo alive, this will be Utami winning his own point, finally with the score lead here at the end of the map. Mathi almost able to take the break point there, but Utami at this point has just comboed too much of the second half of this map and hitting everything, including that wiggle stream in the back half here, going to reward him with the 2-1 lead.
Yeah, that wiggle is pretty much the only deciding factor. That both players seemed relatively comfortable after the beginning stages of that map. Definitely getting a lot more used to the map overall. It's just that wiggle stream, Utami hitting that, and that was the deciding factor. Ack be damned, because Mathi actually had some pretty good ack on that. 1700s, 250s. But Utami, combo game. And that is what matters the most on these, especially the more shorter maps. I believe this was like 2 minutes around that. So combo is king, as they say. But it will be Mathi to pick once again, and we might see him go for that Nomad 2, as we were mentioning earlier. But nope, DT1, as a matter of fact, is going to be the next pick, which, I mean, it is still technically speed, so I think this is a lot more of a toss-up than Nomad 5 would be in comparison, just because the speed isn't nearly as intense of a requirement as compared to Nomad 5, but this is definitely something Mathi can play and is very comfortable at.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, this is probably a toss-up again between these two players. We saw that Mathi is a little bit more comfortable on speed right now, but the burst in this map, honestly, for these two players in particular, shouldn't pose that much of a problem. I think for players who aren't super comfortable on speed, yeah, this map is a little bit bursty, and it can bring a little bit of that speed strain into it, but primarily this is going to be an aim map for these two players. AR 10.3 and 252 BPM, 3 minutes long for this map after double time, which is actually a fairly lengthy DT1 pick. So both of these players going to be in it for the long haul as we get into the AR 10.3 DT aim pick. A little bit bursty like we talked about, and a couple of misses again to come out for Mathi right at the start of the map. Has generally had a worse start to the map, but still winning his own pick here and still contesting heavily both picks from Utami so far. So I don't anticipate these breaks at the start really impacting the overall score for Mathi too heavily, as he's already caught up in combo and bridging the accuracy gap as we speak. SS, however, for Utami out of the gate, showing no real signs of any issues on this pick. And like we talked about, for these two players, the speed not going to be too much of an issue. Both of them going to be just fine on AR 10.3 as well. So this really is going to be largely a test of the aim consistency at this BPM and at the star rating for both of these players.
Ooh, that's actually a really bad under-aim from Mathi on that double there, which is going to be giving Utami even more of a combo lead than he had previously. And not really looking like any signs of Utami really wanting to break this combo lead. He's absolutely nailing this map. I believe only a 2-100, maybe 300 max. As we get into the second third of the map. Or the last 2/3 of the map, rather. He's looking very dominant on this so far.
That's the danger of picking these types of maps into Utami, man. Full combo DT3 last weekend, full combo DT1 last weekend, both against MREC. Just got out-acted on DT1 by MREC the previous weekend, but is so consistent at these DT picks, and despite double banning DT, is still going to give you a run for your money if you show any signs of weakness on a map like this. Utami has the skill to punish those misses very heavily. And that's what we see right now, 190k up for Utami at the break here. He sees the combo lead. He knows he's got this one in the bag if he just holds on to the combo a bit longer. And Mathi's going to see himself down in that combo as well at the break, needing to hold on and just pray for a miss to happen from Utami. But that window of opportunity for a comeback is growing smaller and smaller as we get into the last quarter of this map. And it's looking better and better for Utami here, making it through the burst section with the combo intact. I think that just about seals it up. 800k and climbing with the FC still going strong for Utami. This should be our first breakpoint of the match.
Yeah, if there was any part for Utami to break at, I think it had to be that burst section in order for Mathi to have a chance at this. He almost did. There was a couple of 50s dropped on one of the bursts there, but it's going to be looking to be the FC from Utami on this. Mathi with the higher accuracy at the end of the map here. But it is a solid DT1 FC. And a break point for Utami, up 3-1 now on his next pick.
Still a really good score from Mathi as well. 2 misses, 6 100s on that pick. Half Utami's 100 count again on this map, just like on Hard Rock 2. Half the 100 count, no 50s for Mathi either. Just finding those early misses is the only difference maker, because if Mathi doesn't miss twice in the intro and then at about, I think it was 300 combo in or so, he actually wins that map due to accuracy. But the inconsistency at the start of these maps is now starting to plague Mathi a little bit in this match. And if we see any more of those consistency tests, things like the No Mod 1, things like the Hard Rock 1 that we were talking about before, that type of inconsistency is exactly what you need to avoid to get points on those maps. So it makes me wonder if Utami maybe now is going to pick into some of those other aim picks just to take advantage of what we've seen from Utami, the couple of misses here and there that he's been suffering where, take advantage of Mathi, those couple misses he's been suffering that Utami hasn't, right? The extra misses during the Wiggle stream on Hard Rock 2, the extra misses at the start of DT1, but no, gonna be another pick that I think makes a lot of sense for Utami, the Hidden 3. Again, double ban on the reading maps for Mathi, and so Utami picking both Hiddens within the first 3 maps that he's picked. This one, the flow aim test in Hidden. Lots of really, really tricky cut streams in this map. Lots of patterns like you see in Burnt Rice, for example, or used in other really famous tech maps like Chemomania EDM Squad. This one, very, very easy to chain miss if you accidentally misaim anything, and it is very, very easy to do that on this map. So your hidden mains, your players who only play hidden or play hidden on the vast majority of the maps, really going to have a field day with this type of map, and that's exactly what Utami sort of earned his chops on in the tournament scene.
Yeah, definitely a strong point for Utami. I think Mathi a bit not as comfortable in comparison. compared to Utami on these sort of hidden tech maps, in my opinion. But this is definitely a pick that could go either way. This is a really easily chain missable map, so if you chain miss at the wrong part, you could just very well give the lead up entirely. And for now, it's going to be relatively dead even. Mathi's going to be dropping an early slider break, but the score gap is not going to matter because both players are now chain missing. And oh boy, it's happening!
These chain misses, though, are kind of illustrating the one thing that I think Mathi really has going for him in this match, and that is the accuracy lead that he has consistently had on every single map that we have seen so far. Even despite these chain misses, even despite not being the hidden player in this lobby, Mathi with a 4% accuracy lead up over Utami. And despite the combo lead for Utami, I think that acc lead is going to be enough to keep the score lead on Mathi's side as we get into the second half of this match. 30k in Mathi's favor with that just under 4% acc lead now still doing work for him.
It's going to determine, well, the last section of this map is really going to determine pretty much everything. It's whether or not we'll see more chain misses from any of these players on this last part here. That's going to be what is going to end up determining this. Let's see what happens. Utami going to be dropping the combo. Mathi, on the other hand, nailing the first part of these and not showing any signs of stopping right now. Okay, well, there he goes, but Utami also trading that miss, and I think that's just about enough, just barely, for Mathi to claim victory on this point and get the breakpoint right back. Bit of an RNG pick out from Utami, and it doesn't play out in his favor off the accuracy mostly from Mathi alone.
Yeah, and this sort of map definitely does kind of throw a wrench in the plans for Utami. To this point, he had been winning his picks off of the combo game, right? Full comboing maps that Mathi was having a little bit of issues with consistency on. So when you pick a map like this, where both players are almost guaranteed to miss, right? Like if you see anybody full combo this map this weekend, they easily have the best score by a country mile on this type of map, right? So when you're almost assuming that both players are going to find chain misses, you tend to favor the player with the better accuracy. And despite Utami having a long history of doing very well on hidden maps, Mathi has been getting better acc on these picks so far, and is now going to go into something that I wanted to talk a little bit about earlier, the Hard Rock 3 pick. We mentioned this map in the pre-game talk when we were going over both players in the map pool before we actually got started. This is the finger control pick in Hard Rock. Basically takes the place of your quote-unquote meta, No Mod 6 right now. Lots of beat snap divisor changes from 1/4, your usual stream BPM, to 1/6, which is the same as double time, to 1/8, which is double the BPM of 1/4 streams, all throughout this map. And you add on Hard Rock and OD10, it makes it very, very hard to act something like this. Something that Mathi has been very, very good on for years, that accuracy at those higher BPMs, and something that he's been doing very, very well in this match as well.
Yeah, relatively short map on this one as well, just under a minute 40, and Utami dropping an early break. Meanwhile, Mathi, 98%, having absolutely no issue with these rhythm changes. I genuinely was not expecting him to be acking these very early on, and he is just nailing this right now. Like, compared to Utami, it's just like a night and day difference in terms of accuracy. What?
This is the reason why I wanted to mention this pick for Mathi, man. His accuracy is so good at these higher BPMs. As long as you can properly read where the differences are between the 1/6 and 1/8 in this map, which is fairly easy. The 1/6 are always in quads, the 1/8 are always in triples. You will be able to act them if you have the tapping for it, and Mathi at those higher BPMs with the finger control is known throughout the OS scene, and not just the tournament scene, as being one of the best hack players on those higher BPMs. Just absolutely crushing the flow aim in this map too. My god, man, he's still going with the full combo.
This accuracy, like, I can't understate this accuracy enough. The combo itself is already impressive, but like, dude, what is this accuracy at OD10? How do you get almost a 98% FC on stuff like this? That is not... That's not okay. Look at the B rank to the S rank. Like, dude, chill.
Yeah.
What happened?
Just mental accuracy from Mathi, combined 150 count from Utami is 70. That is almost triple the 100 count from Mathi. If you add in the misses, that is over triple the 150 and miss count from from Utami to the 100 count from Mathi. Just completely dominant accuracy on that map. To Utami's credit, very solid combo from him, full comboing, 2/3 of the map, getting that 600 combo, but Mathi giving him no room for errors whatsoever, would have beaten him even if Utami had full comboed. And now we're going to go back to some of that aim consistency. Utami seeing a pattern here in terms of the maps that he's won. Pick Hidden 1, DT1, and win both of them. Let's go into the Nomad one instead and get some more aim consistency going here. This map, despite being mapped by Ryusei Aika, plays very comfortably, and at 218 BPM, the spacing not high enough where you're looking at, who has the better cross-screen jump skill cap. You're still looking at kind of normal spacing on these jumps, just the higher BPM, giving that extra star rating to this map. And both of these players, as long as they practiced it, they should be pretty solid on this map, as this one, very, very straightforward sort of pick.
I just want to further reinforce how stupid that accuracy was, by the way, from Mathi on that earlier pick. The only other time this was played was, I believe, Malashevsky versus Badu. Malashevsky did FC with 94%. The person widely considered to be one of the best tournament players right now. And Mathi just blew that accuracy out of the water. Anyway, getting into the generic aim map, and you can just sort of see what this map is all about. It's about fast jumps, or well, relatively fast jumps, 220-ish BPM on the jumps on this. Relatively comfortable, not anything to really write home about. This is just your general aim consistency map. It's Nomad 1. Alert sign in chat. Yeah.
Another map. Mathi not having the early consistency issues that he's had throughout the match, so no early misses for Mathi on this map, excuse me. And still the accuracy advantage that he's held on basically every map so far. So looking good for Mathi at the moment, but as I say that, misses during the first TI time, and Utami now with the score lead going to be growing very, very quickly so long as he is able to hold on to that combo. And this is the way that Utami has been winning these maps, right? Picking into the maps where high combos are expected and comboing better than Mathi, especially on these game picks. This has been Utami's way to victory in this match so far.
Well, not all hope is lost yet for Mathi. Utami can easily drop a miss at any point in the next few, I'd say 1 minute, and Mathi has a chance at a comeback here as long as he keeps comboing. And, okay, what happened there? Both players just slider broke on that, I guess. Combo reset.
I tried to look back at the pattern that they both missed on as well. It looked like they missed right before the slider, like on the stream pattern. Maybe the stream into the slider giving them some trouble there, as both of them, like you said, finding those misses. It is still accuracy lead for Mathi at the moment, but a slightly higher combo for Utami, and that ACK lead is not going to do enough to bring any of this score lead back. So that earlier 75k score lead that Utami had held due to the higher combo in that first half of the map, going to be doing work during the second half, and very likely to win him the map, actually, given that they both broke on the same spot otherwise.
Utami does break relatively soon, then we will have a dicey situation on our hand, to say the very least, but it would have to be really soon in order for that score gap to really shift over, I think. Like, pretty much he'd have to miss right at the beginning of this part, and it just does not seem like that's going to be happening. Hitting that section, Mathi drops the combo instead. That's going to seal it. Utami up now 4-3.
Utami winning on, again, comboing more of the map than Mathi. Does finally find a couple misses here at the very ending, but not going to matter at all. The score lead already consolidated, and the lead still maintained at this point. 4-3 now for Utami, winning his own pick.
And I think that
that's over to Mathi.
Yeah, I think that just sort of solidifies, Hard Rock 1 as a pick for Utami. That's pretty much just going to be like, guaranteed his next pick, I feel like, his next and final pick, as a matter of fact.
Yeah,
pretty much just solidifies that. There's no way you're getting around that. Mathi, on the other hand, has a bit more of a tough time deciding what he would want to pick. Nomad 2, I still don't think is really a good idea, because Utami has just been an absolute monster on Nomad 2s, especially at higher levels, and it's going to be Nomad 2. Okay, I am very interested to see how this plays out.
I think that there are 2 maps left up that Mathi probably wants to pick, and he has 2 picks left. And those would be Nomad 2 and Nomad 3 for me, actually, are the 2 maps that I think that Mathi probably wants to pick into. Just looking at the maps that he has picked so far and that he has won on so far, nearly all of them have been flowing. Right? Like, he has won Nomad 5, which is speed with, there's a couple of jumps, but not too much else besides tapping there. Hidden 3, which is flow aim, and Hard Rock 3, which is flow aim. Of course, the accuracy factor there on Hard Rock 3 is kind of the main draw, but all of the aim component is flow aim in every single pick that he has won so far. So I think picking into Nomad 2 and Nomad 3 is probably Mathi's path to a tiebreaker at the very least in this match. Given the maps that are left up, he does not want to pick that Hard Rock 1. He probably does not want to go into Nomad 4, which is a toss-up given how these players have performed on it in previous weeks on past tech maps in Nomad. So I think with how this match has gone so far, this is as good a pick as Mathi is going to get, despite what we know about Utami and high-level Nomad 2s. You can see, again, the accuracy going better for Mathi, and despite the early combo break, the act might just be enough for the score lead to be basically evened out right now. It's only a couple thousand in Utami's favor at the moment, as Mathi holding that 99.4% reverse choke.
It's going to be relatively even. The 100 combo from the early break on Mathi's behalf will be giving Utami the slight advantage here, but not by much. And the repeated act drops that Utami is going to be finding as well is just going to sort of keep that way. In fact, actually going to be reducing the score cap. I believe it's only just about 6k now, but it will be continuing to grow as the map continues to progress. Assuming we don't see any future breaks, which I would imagine we're probably going to be seeing. There is a 1/3 section in this map, very notably, that will be pretty much an act killer, I'd say, for both of these players. I'd be very surprised to see both of these players go out with 99% on that part. As we get into the second stream section, no obvious discomfort from pretty much either player. Both of these players are just absolutely destroying this.
Yeah, accuracy for both of them very, very good during this part of the map. 99.2 for Mathi, for Utami, 99.6 for Mathi. These players' names are too similar, man. Why do we got the 2 players who have the same sounding name matched up against each other? I keep slipping both of their names together subconsciously, but yeah, again, accuracy lead for Mathi over Utami, but combo lead for Utami over Mathi, giving him a slight score lead at the moment, which is rough for Mathi, right? You have to win this pick. Otherwise, you are down match point with Utami getting the next pick. So this is a very important map for Mathi to win. Going now into the 1/3 section here about halfway through. We get a couple of little aim parts here, and then we'll get those flow aim 1/3. It can be really, really tricky to combo through for some players. The cuts on these are the main draw in terms of the flow aim, as both of them hit this first section of them. No real issues. Looking for either player to drop anything at this point.
I think there's another pair coming up here. Oh, never mind. That was the other pair that just passed. So now we're back exclusively into the 1/4 stream territory. Accuracy still in favor of Mathi, but it just doesn't matter because of combo. Okay, both players SS that 1/3. I don't know how that happened, but sure. Yeah, this is literally all determined off of Mathi's miss at the first 100 combo of the map. That's literally the only difference. Otherwise, Mathi would have the lead right now by quite a considerable margin just off this accuracy alone. And literally any miss at the last part of this map, any note walk, any semblance of discomfort on anything here is going to just completely determine it. You can see Utami shaking like a madman right now. Mathi as well, to some extent. Like, they are both nervous. They both know what is on the line here. There goes Utami. Mathi now with the combo advantage. And that is going to, I think, just be it, because he's not showing any signs of returning that miss.
That is 100% the deciding factor. Mathi making it out of that difficult scream section with the combo intact. The reverse choke still going strong. And the accuracy just inhuman, man. 99.72% ac on this map. Despite the early miss, means that his ac really is like 99.8 in terms of the 100 count. Just absolutely disgusting stuff from Mathi. And yeah, despite the fact that Utami is very good at these no mod 2s, despite the fact that this 700k, probably 750 plus by the end of the map for Utami, would beat most other tournament players, even at the highest level on this map, Mathi's going to come out on top and finish out this map with that reverse choke intact. Just ridiculous accuracy to boot. Such a good play from him on this map.
I think those are the two best scores that we have actually seen on that map this weekend. I lied. Never mind. ReedCat FC'd. But,
yeah, 6-100s, by the way.
Yeah.
6-100s and 150 for Mathi. One slider break at the very start of the map, and otherwise less than 1/4 of the 100 count of Utami on this map.
Yeah,
that is demon accuracy, actually.
And he didn't even miss. He slider broke on just absolutely nothing. And just for comparison, by the way, the FC from ReedCat during his match against Malashevsky, he got a 99.5%, respectable, but it was almost... I accidentally clicked the wrong button. It was double. ReedCat's 100 count was double what Mathi just had there, so absolutely insane accuracy. And, yep, the Hard Rock 1 pick. Pretty much off.
We were talking about this. You mentioned it as pretty much a guaranteed pick. I have to agree with it after what we've seen Utami do on all the other 8 maps in this pool. The big difference here, again, is the BPM and therefore the spacing. To get to this kind of star rating, 7+ stars on the new star rating, you've got to have some really ridiculous spacing on a map like this at 185 BPM, and you're going to see some basically cross-screen jumps during the KI times here. And with how good Utami's jump consistency has been, yeah, there you go. There's your cross screens right at the start of the map. Utami is poised to have a very good time on this map, given how good he has been on all the other aim picks.
Yeah, having absolutely no issue transitioning from the more flow aim aspect of No Mod 2 to the just raw aim consistency of this map. Mathi, on the other hand, struggling a bit on the first few jumps, but recovered fairly nicely. And I imagine feeling a bit more comfortable as we go into the next few jump sections here. As a matter of fact, that is exactly what's going to be happening. Both of these players feeling very confident on their aim capabilities now. It's just going to be these little trip-ups, little mis-aims that are going to decide everything. Just like that slider break from Utami is going to be giving the combo advantage now to Mathi.
Thing is, though, this map is so easy to find random mis-aims on that it almost feels guaranteed we're going to see more misses from both of these players throughout the rest of the map. However, at the moment, it's Mathi making it out of that KI time with the combo intact, and Utami trailing behind by about 350, 360 combo. But Mathi mis-aiming a triple there in the verse, and again, combo lead back over to Utami now, as Mathi does find that mis-aim. So, despite the combo lead out of the KI time, despite the accuracy lead that Mathi has, Utami now going to start to take back that score lead. It's about 44k in Mathi's favor at the moment. Going now into the second KI time as we get some more of these trademark back and forth jumps, cross screens through this KI time. Neither player breaking on the start of this chorus. Both of them should be pretty solid during this KI time.
Yep. The score gap will be shifting over to Utami very slowly, though. You can see 30k now for the score gap. Now, just continuing to grow if Mathi has an unfortunate miss at some point here, which is very possible. This map is pretty consistently difficult, so you can just miss on that.
Yep. And these KI times, man, the spacing during these parts of the map, just so huge. It makes it so hard to be consistent for anybody, despite this being actually the lowest star rating aim map in the pool. Star rating's broken, by the way. Just, yeah, these random parts that you can easily miss on, doing too much to Mathi's combo, too much to Mathi's score near the end of the map, and that is going to be very likely the point for Utami at this point. Already 80,000 score lead built up just from this combo lead that he has within the last 15 seconds or so. And that is going to be more than enough to take the point, more than enough to put him at match point as well. At the very least, guaranteed tiebreaker now against Mathi, who, ball back in his court, has last pick to try and force that tiebreaker for himself as well.
That was a very solid ending from Utami. Also, 400s from Mathi, by the way. Yeah, okay. Accuracy from Mathi has just been absolutely ridiculous. Unfortunately, the aim, not so much for Mathi. But don't worry, guys. I will curse Utami to miss on the next pick so that we can see the tiebreaker. That was like actually perfect timing on Mathi's miss on that. I feel terrible. And yeah, no mod 3, you were saying, was probably going to be the pick, and here it is.
The flow-aim mess, man, that's what Mathi's been winning all match long. It's what he's been good at in this match. The jump aim has been going Utami's way, and all of the flow-aim maps, including the speed and stamina maps, have gone the way of Mathi. This one, though, I think is going to be the most contested because this type of map isn't really flow-aim. Like, you call it flow-aim, but I think that's kind of outdated as a description of what it really is at this point, because in 2022, alt more so means your aim control and how consistent you can be at that aim control. Tons of cut double streams in Spartan alt maps in particular, like you see right here at the start. Lots of really high spacing into low spacing, stuff that you typically see in Hidden One mixed in to this map at this BPM as well, at 135 or so BPM. Can be really, really difficult to keep the aim control together. So, despite me calling it flow aim, it is more so that aim control. And this is something that I think makes it a little bit more contested between these two players. We'll see how it ends up going. This is still probably the best pick that Mathi has at this point. And so if he is able to win it, we'll see that tiebreaker between the two of them. All on Mathi's court right now, though. 99.74% accuracy out of the start, 4 100s for Utami meanwhile. Both of them on the full combo, however, and that's really what counts here as we start to get into the first PI time.
The first hard part of the map. We're going to be getting into a lot of the more difficult jumps to aim here. And you can sort of see, this is a lot more snap aim focused. I don't think you mentioned that, but there is a lot of patterns in this that require a lot of different snaps, and you have to be on your toes, in particular, for a lot of these, like, awkward angled patterns. So far, though, both players having no difficulty with it. So far, as we get into that one, there goes Utami's combo. Mathi going to be solidifying a very nice accuracy and combo lead in the halfway point of the map here.
Yeah, and this is now just massive combo lead, like you said, for Mathi. Some of those snaps outside the KI time getting the better of Utami and making it very easy now for Mathi to consolidate a massive score lead, already up 130,000 score and climbing with, again, what is this accuracy, man? 99.8 from Mathi right now, over halfway into the map, just crushing the act department on every single map, even the ones that he's
okay.
The spider break, but the combo advantage for Utami just isn't that big, and it's already 160,000 score lead for Mathi right now. So unless we see like repeated breaks from Mathi, Utami's got a lot of score lead to claw back right now.
Dio, I think you should stop, because I think Mathi's taking her words to heart. It's going to be repeated missing.
Looking so good right now. Utami is just absolutely popping off in the second.
It doesn't work when you want it to. No, that's like the first rule. See, look, now you just... Oh, no, Dio.
Not like this, man.
What have you done?
There's not that long. The act lead, he's got this, all right?
Look what you've done, Dio. This might be the worst disaster of all time, and you have single-handedly caused it.
That's my fault, guys. You can blame me. Oh, Lord. Utami's still holding onto this combo. Actually, very big combo here. And seriously, not doing him any favors. But with 30k score left and just a sliver of map at the end here, I don't know if it's going to be enough. It's combo dense here at the ending. But 13,000, not even 12,000 score. Mathi is still going to take No Mod 3 by that margin, and he is still going to force that tiebreaker. 3 100s and 4 50s for this man on this pick, despite 3 misses, still above 99% accuracy. Just ridiculous act, saving Mathi's score on that map. The act lead doing so much work for him on that pick.
You tried so hard to make Mathi fail there, but he doesn't care. And we get into the first tiebreaker of the semifinals weekend. Scene 7, The Dance of Eternity by Overload Code. That was a sound that happened, apparently. I'm not sure what happened there. Was that actually part of the song?
It may as well be. There are so many BPM changes in this song. There's so many beat snap divisor changes in this song as well. I mean, you have consistent BPM changes all throughout this song by Dream Theater from the very start of the song through the very end. 6 minutes of just timing hell, not only for these players, but for the mapper as well. Trying to make the best of a song like this is very, very difficult. And with all those timing changes comes a lot of different types of patterning as well. You have anything from sort of swing alt patterning in this map to super high spacing jumps to speed streams in this map to finger control to just anything, any type of pattern you can fit into this style of song will fit with those BPM changes. I think the biggest thing that this map doesn't have, that a lot of maps like RPG, for example, have, or Palace of Melancholia have, is those tech sections that you tend to find in a lot of multi-skill tiebreakers nowadays, but just about everything else you're going to find in this map.
Well, seems like the players are ready, and we're going to be getting right into it. 6 minutes long is the tiebreaker on this one. If you're familiar with Dream Theater, there is a love set of a different song by them that you can sort of just, in general, get the feel for their music. It is absolutely brutal to act properly. There's so many rhythm changes. You have to keep on your toes entirely, and Utami going to be missing at the first 20 seconds of the map. Not going to really matter, and Mathi follows up with a slider break on that slider anyways. So I need to calm down, man.
I hope both of these players have practiced this pick, because if they haven't, all these rhythm changes are really going to catch them off guard. I mean, they are just consistently, every 10 seconds or so, a new rhythm pops up, a new BPM pops up, and a new timing point to deal with occurs. So they're going to need all the reading skill they have if they want to take this map on. In addition to this map being, 7.5 stars or so in terms of just the mechanical skill required to deal with all these patterns. You can already see all the different types of timing signatures and BPMs coming into this map with the different speeds required to hit these streams. Utami overstreaming there a little bit at the start of that one, finally finding his footing near the back half of the stream.
And you can just sort of see right off the bat, these are absolutely ridiculous BPM changes from literally all these streams, and just look at how hard it is to act these. You have to literally keep on your toes because everything is just changing constantly. You can't... It's pretty hard to predict what's going to happen next.
I'm going to remind everybody that Mathi had this type of act on the Hard Rock 3 for this weekend. Dropping the same act on the tiebreaker really does show exactly how hard it is to act this. But while we were talking about that, Utami actually finding a miss, I think a slider break, in one of the aim portions of this map, which is probably where we're going to see these players miss most of the time, is during those jump aim sections. So big combo lead now for Mathi, and he's had it for a little while. Chance to build up this 40,000 and climbing score lead at the moment. As long as he holds on to this combo, score lead is going to be growing for him, but we are still in the first half of the map. There is still a lot of combo left to go. So this sort of map going to give a lot of chances for a comeback to happen for Utami, but not if he continues to find these misses. Had reset the combo once again during this, and is resetting again on these streams. The BPM changes really catching Utami off guard, it looks like.
Yeah, Mathi's absolutely destroying this. Not anymore. As I immediately say that, that is just something that happens, I suppose. My bad. But it is going to be a really sizable advantage for him. 100k lead on a tiebreaker is nothing to scoff at, especially when we're already halfway through the map.
of them, obviously, as is tradition, having no trouble with the speed stream section there, but all the other BPM changes really catching some of them off guard. With the combo lead that Mathi has Utami has, excuse me, I don't know that there's a lot of score that he's going to be able to claw back from Mathi right now with the accuracy lead that Mathi holds. Almost 2% up on Utami, so despite that 100 combo lead for Utami, this score lead kind of staying put right where it is at about that 80,000 score mark right now. We'll see if that does end up changing. Another break from Mathi, for example, could swing it wildly into Utami's favor, or some big act drops from Mathi could do something similar here and start to give Utami a way back into this map. At the 2/3 mark now, Utami finding that slider break going to be exactly what he doesn't need, as now that score lead going to continue to grow in Mathi's favor as he holds this combo. This alt section and aim control really, really brutal on both of these players.
And we just saw earlier how Mathi was doing on these alt maps with no mod 3. Utami as well, but it just seems like Mathi is doing much better than Utami on this. Ag-wise, it's no contest, 2% lead. And with repeated misses from Utami, is he cursor? Does he already think it's over?
I think he may think it's over, and honestly, I kind of agree with him. 1,000 combo for Mathi at this point. 98% to 96, not even, for Utami. Utami with that most recent reset on basically 0 combo, and 150,000 score lead just about for Mathi is absolutely massive on a map this long, with so much combo needed to pull it back for Utami. Even if Mathi missed right now, there would need to be chain misses near the end for this to go back over. And I like to keep the suspense together, but at this point you're praying for chain misses from Mathi, and I think Utami is unfortunately not going to be able to take advantage of any of those.
Wait, Mathi's going off right now. That save was crazy. What? He completely cursor danced off that double and just somehow hit it. I don't understand how. He is on an S rank, by the way, in case you missed that at the break. He is still S ranking the map. God damn it. God, dude.
Both of us, man, in this match, doing our damnedest to find anything to break for them, but that big combo is going to be gone for Mathi. The S rank's going to be gone, but you know what's not gone? Top 3. Mathi's going to be advancing into the top 3. He's going to close out this map with just about 500k and 98% accuracy to his name, and advance into the winners finals up against Zudinator. GG, well played, man. What a fantastic performance from Mathi.
What a fantastic performance from both these players. Absolutely ridiculous scores, especially from Mathi on this tiebreaker. 500k to his name. And that is going to be that. Your winner's bracket final matchup going to be Zudinator versus Mathi for the finals weekend, as well as the loser's bracket matchups going to be finalized now. We have Arnold, actually not finalized quite yet, but we do have one of them finalized. That is going to be Utami versus Malshevsky in the loser's bracket. Just in case you didn't realize how stacked this tournament was.
This tournament's been stacked from day one, man, and in finals, now that we have top 6 almost guaranteed, just is even more stacked. Ridiculous matchups all the way through, including in the winner's bracket, where, of course, Mathi going to be facing off against Zudinator in that winner's bracket match. Just going to be a super fun matchup to watch, and I am super excited to see how it goes. We have one matchup left this weekend, however.
And that is going to be Ikoro versus Takedo. Ikoro on the absolute run of his life, might I add. Winning against White Cat on tiebreaker after being knocked into the losers by Malshevsky immediately in round of 16. Then having a unfortunate forfeit win to Emrek because he sleep schedule. But he is on a roll right now. Like, that White Cat win in particular on tiebreaker, absolutely ridiculous performance from him. And he's looking to go all the way with this. He wants to go to the finals, and he's going to have to face off against Takedo in the next 30 minutes. That's going to be happening right here. Don't go anywhere. See you guys then.